Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. And what is this video about? Well, I thought today I would sit down and share with you some ways in which you can use MIDI processing to kind of expand your ideas and take them perhaps into realms which you may not have thought of yourself. Maybe you're someone who really wants to make some music that goes somewhere and stimulates your imagination, but perhaps you've got a limited skill set when it comes to playing MIDI instruments or just knowing how music works generally. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or maybe you're just someone who's sometimes, you know, like me and a little bit lazy and doesn't feel like hammering around a keyboard to come up with ideas and just wants stuff to happen because you're an entitled millennial. So what I'm going to do is show you how you can take fairly basic ideas and develop them using Ableton. Ableton can be there to kind of give you a little bit of assistance, make some suggestions. You know, you can work together and see what comes out, and maybe the results might be really good and might excite you in order to continue working on a piece. So I'm going to do this using all stock instruments and all stock MIDI devices. And I'm going to start with, let's start with analog. Let's pull in the old analog. Why is everything in reverse alphabetical order? There we go. Right. Let's pull in the analog and I'll make a new clip. And what tempo are we at? 140, that'll do. Okay. So I'm going to work in C major, but I'm going to use mode 2 of C major, which as we all know is D Dorian. So even though I'm going to be playing the notes from C major, my root note, my key, my bass note is going to be D. This is a lovely scale to use because it has a very satisfying fluctuation between minor and major flavors because of the inclusion of the minor third and the minor seventh, but also the major second and the major sixth. So it's got this very sort of like, you don't always know where it's going. Sometimes it sounds a little bit sad. Sometimes it sounds a little bit happy. It's plaintive. I think the word is plaintive. Is that the word? I'll look it up later. Okay, so I'm going to snap the scale to C major. Okay, so C major is there by default. Let's snap the scale in, and I'm just going to start by just drawing in some simple chords. So let's do a D here. So that would be, yeah, we'll have a third there and a fifth there. Okay, let's listen to that. Okay, all right. But I actually want the sequence to be a bit longer, so let's make it 4 bars. Okay, yeah, that'll do. All right, so then I'm just going to copy that chord over here and just move it down. Okay, and then I'm going to copy it over here and move it up to E. And then I'm going to copy it here and move it up to, what have I done? So that to F. All right, that'll do. Okay, so let's take all of those and let's hit the legato button. I love the legato button. Right, so this is a very, very basic chord progression using triads in C major with a bass note of D. It's bland as fuck, but we're going to make it more interesting. I'm going to come down a little bit to 115. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly that great, is it? Let's just do some quick sound design on the synth. Maybe just a little bit of a fade in and a tiny fade out. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that envelope on the filter. Okay. I only want 4 voices. Okay. Yeah, so it's not really that interesting, is it? So what can we do to just add a little bit of life to it, or rather ask Ableton to add a little bit of life to it, give it a, you know, take it in some directions that we weren't expecting, but still keeping it within the realms of what we've started with, which was D Dorian. So first of all, let's get some MIDI effects in there. Let's go to our scale And actually, we don't need like the Dorian mode because we're in C major. So we can just simply pull in major, which is in C. This is C major. And then I'm going to get the random. And I'm going to put the random before the scale. And I'm basically just going to say random every once in a while, just play a random note. You know, not all the time, just every now and again. So let's just have a look at these settings here. We've got a couple of modes here. We've got random and alternate. Alternate's really good, but we're not going to use that right now. We're just going to use random. We've got the amount of choices. So we've got up to 24 notes that it will generate randomly. And we can choose to add on top of the notes that we've had, go beneath the notes that we've had, or go either side. Let's go with that. Let's go with by, and then let's give it a 25% chance that it's going to randomize the notes. Let's listen. Oh, there we go. So sometimes it will play the original and sometimes it will do things like that. That's nice. Hello. All right. So I'm thinking the vibe I'm going to go for today is, you know, a vibe I like to go for quite often from one of my favorite eras of electronic music. And that's the early noughties. So yeah, I'm going to go for a sort of, you know, whimsical IDM vibe. Okay. Let's maybe have a bit more release on that amp. A bit more than that, maybe. Okay. Okay, actually, I'm going to put the voices back up. Let's go to 8 voices. Yeah. So it's still, you know, it's still within the realms of what I said this earlier, didn't I? So I'll be more succinct. We're embellishing the MIDI with some MIDI processing. So it's not all randomly generated. It's more just kind of making suggestions, kind of going, hey, what about this? And, you know, we need to have the scale plugin in there. And if we don't, it's just going to sound awful. Well, or it could be good. You don't know. But yeah, generally it's going to be awful. The scale will take the new random notes and snap them to the scale that we want to work in. So we're all good. We need that. That's important. Oh, it's good, isn't it? Right. Okay. So let's do some beats. I'm just going to use the Core 808 here, and I'm going to go into a clip, and I'm just going to start with something very basic, kick and snare here, and maybe some, where is the, let's turn that scale thing off. Everything's a bit disorientating. Okay, right. Closed hi-hat. All right, so I'm going to draw a closed hi-hat here, and then 3 here, but I'm going to give these ones a 50% chance, 50% chance, 55% chance, and then I'm going to duplicate that. So I'm definitely going to have a hi-hat on every beat, but then we've got some skittery ones along the way. And what I'll do is I'll put some open hi-hats here, and let's have a listen to that. So we don't get open hi-hats all the time because sometimes the note that's choking the open hi-hat may get a high chance of happening. So I'm going to do the same thing now with some kicks and snares. Draw in so I'm going to take those and those and those, holding shift so I can select multiple ones. If you didn't know that, pull them down to like 50%. Yeah. Okay, so There's a little bit of funk in there. You know, this is what we're doing. We're just basically doing MIDI funk. You know, that's kind of that's basically what we're doing. So, yeah, I'm going to use the random again. But the random is basically just going to occasionally trigger other MIDI notes, which will thus trigger another sound because this is a drum kit. So I'll say I'll have 8 choices. And let's go for like a 20. Let's start with 20% chance that it's going to happen. And we'll go only above the notes. We won't go beneath because there's no notes there. There we go. Little clap. Oh, there is some bits, other bits. So if at any point you think that it's maybe doing too much, you just turn the chance down. And then it's not going to make all the changes all the time. Or if you want it to change constantly, you whack the chance up. So I've gone for 25. You know, that's like a 1 in 4 chance that it's maybe going to make a change. Make a change. Okay, let's do a bass. Whoops. Okay, let's make a bass. So I think I'll use Operator for the bass because that's my favorite bass synth in Ableton of choice. And I'm going to do, okay, let's snap the scale back in and let's go down to D. Hang on, how long was this clip? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy this clip over to here and just edit it. So I'll delete all this stuff. We'll start... Yeah, because that's the same length, 4 bars. So let's actually come down an octave with this, see what we have. Okay, we could maybe, I'll leave it at D2. Okay, so let's, I'll just duplicate that, put that there, and then one here, and then this one can go there. All right. No, I've changed my mind. You can go there, and you can go there. So it's a good starting point, but yeah, it's a little bland, but we're going to push it. We're going to push it real good. Okay, so I'm just going to stop these other things for a minute. So yeah, we're going to need that scale. I'm just going to copy these two over to my bass track, plonk them down there. And now I'm going to ping in an arpeggiator. And let's just turn the chance down and listen to, let's set the arpeggiator to 16ths. And let's just have a listen to what the bass is doing now. Okay. So I'll maybe just quickly do a bit of sound design. Okay, it's not really bassy at the moment, but we'll get to that in a minute. So with the arpeggiator set before the random, let me rewind here. With the random after the arpeggiator, then that means that each new note that comes in from the arpeggiator, the random will randomize. And with the random before the scale will snap those random notes to the scale that we're working in. But if we only add a little bit of chance, then we're going to kind of like get these random events that are going to riff or vamp around our fundamental bass line, which is just these 4 notes. So essentially the arpeggiator is going to go, and then the random will kind of add a few extra notes now and then, just to give it a little bit more funk. So again, let's go for 25% and see what we get. Yeah. Yeah, love it. So we can actually increase the step size here to maybe make it do like a few little octave shifts. Yeah. But I'm going to put random on. Okay, that's too much. Let's pull the chance down to 15%. Yeah, that might be, what did I have it on? +12. Okay, I'm just going to come down an octave with the MIDI. So I'm going to select it all, hold shift and press down. Boom, now we're an octave lower. Okay, let's go. Okay, that's a bit better. So, but maybe, you know, maybe I don't want the bass going all the time. So I'll just filter out some notes. After the arpeggiator, I'll put a MIDI effect rack in here. I'll go into the chain. Where's the chain? There's the chain. And I will create a chain. I'll go to the velocity tab and I'm just going to pull the velocity down to something like 96, 104 around there, just to give like a little bit of chance that maybe nothing will happen. And then I'm going to use the velocity plugin. So my velocity plugin by default, I've set to just randomize the velocity every single time. And you do that by setting it to fixed, having the output high at 64 and the random at 64. So that's got a full range of random velocity, which means that there is a 94% chance out of 127 that some notes will come through, and then the rest of it, there's a chance that they won't come through. So this is what we get. We get some little gaps. Okay, so let's maybe do something. Okay, I'm going to pull the velocity in before the operator so I can use it to do some stuff like do the envelope time. Oh, and we need one voice. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of like funk going on there. Yeah. Okay, let's hear it with everything else. Yeah, it's got some funk, man. You don't know where it's gonna go, but it's like it's groovy. You know, you know where you are, but at the same time, you don't know what might happen. You know. Okay, let's pull it in our chords back. Pull our chords back in. I think it's reverb time. Okay, so maybe we could try some melodies now, but melodies are this very hard. It's very hard to kind of do like generative melodies. I think really if you're approaching this phase of the composition process, then probably it's time to just whip out the keyboard and just hammer something out until you know, until you find something you like. The nice thing about using MIDI effects is that you could probably just put some MIDI effects in there to keep everything in key and just hit whatever you want when you feel like it. And it's possible that it might turn into an interesting melody, but I'll keep within the realms of what we're doing. Keep saying realms today. Hang on. Oh, I'm so sorry. So yeah, okay. So basically I'll kind of now do a mashup of what I did with the bass and the chords to see if we can make something melodic, you know, just as a starting point. So let's get analog again. In fact, why don't I just, copy this stuff to a new MIDI track and the clip. Let's just mute this for a minute. Okay, so that's basically the same thing. I'm gonna go to a sine wave and one voice. Okay, and I'm gonna do, kind of what I did with the arpeggiator on the bass and filter out. Where am I gonna do this? Okay, let's go here. Let's go for eighth notes. Let's go for, we'll try the styles out in a minute. Let's just get it going. So, okay, so we've got this. Let's have a bit more chance here, 40% chance. Okay, and then where was that MIDI filter I did on the bass? Is it this guy? Yes, okay, let's copy that over and plonk that there. Oh, and I need to put some velocity in. Okay, velocity device is in. Filter out some notes. And maybe for this one, we can just give it more of a 50-50, like a coin toss thing that maybe the MIDI will or will not come through. Okay, let's try some different styles. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put to give it that kind of old IDM vibe, I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of pitch modulation on each new MIDI note, and I'm going to do that with a sample and hold LFO with the re-trigger on, with the rate really down low, and I'm going to apply a very tiny, minuscule amount of modulation to the pitch. So let's go for 0.09, and let's see what that's like. Yeah, just goes a little bit out of tune. So the reverb. Maybe an octave higher. Yeah. I've remade Analog. That's it. That's basically what it is. It's very twee, isn't it? It's Monday. Let's make some twee electronica. Let's add a touch more pitch modulation to that lead line. Hang on, I'm lost. Rewind, I got lost. There we go. I think I'd quite like to overdrive this bass a little bit. Make it a bit crunchy. Where is the overdrive? Where is it? There it is. Let's maybe go frequency to velocity. And a little bit of... Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can hear there's obviously lots going on and it does sound a little bit like just tinkering around. But the next stage is now to find a way to capture those moments, hone in on things that you like that resonate with you, or perhaps are the beginnings of the track starting to form an identity, and then exploiting those and making those the theme. I won't go into that now. Perhaps I'll go into that in another video. But yeah, that's it. Basically take some very boring MIDI and turn it into something a little bit more fruity. And maybe that will inspire you. Okay. That's all I have for you today. Oh, I'm going to go and put this on Patreon as well. I'm going to zip this up, put it on my Patreon. And if you want to support me on Patreon, you can download the set and download a whole load of other stuff that I've been doing for about 5 years. And it all goes towards me. It's me. You support me. Support me with money if you want. I'd be very grateful. And you get free, cool stuff. Or if you're looking for some, you know, some one-to-one tuition, I've got tiers on there for that as well. But yeah. Okay. See you next time. Bye.